All right. In today's Post-mortem podcast, I sit down with Saad Khan, who is the sales director at Aligned. The post is on his hot take. Is a hot take from Saad on hating on signal-led outbound. It's actually one that would be really good for you to watch on video because Saad did a lot of ad hoc video sharing of data from their CRM, their process for signal-based outbound. We get into that topic plus a lot of other things like signal stacking, the importance of having the right criteria for who you're reaching out to, Saad's 4-step playbook for running a signal-based approach, and then also all of their incredible results that they are seeing quarter over quarter. It's a really fun episode. Again, one that would be really great if you could watch on video, but if not, still good content for you to consume while you're on a run or have some headphones on doing something else without being able to see the screen. Either way, Saad, it was a really great conversation, and without further ado, I bring you Saad. All right, Saad, thanks so much for joining me on the podcast today. I'm super excited to have you.
My pleasure. It's been amazing working with y'all, and yeah, let's keep going. Let's keep digging deeper.
Yeah, so let's jump in right into your post. I'm going to share my screen, and so anyone following along on YouTube or some visual channel can also follow along with us here. So this post here is one that's on hating on signal-led outbound, and I'm just going to read the first part and then cue you up with some questions. So
Yeah.
let's get into it. So actually, maybe let's look at the post engagement. So had 176 as of right now, 176 reactions, 68 comments, 4 reposts. Not bad, definitely better than my feed. But let's start with the
That's why you have your partners. That's why you have
yes.
like
That's why
like
we have you.
alignment.
Yeah. Okay, so let's read this. Hot take: hating on signal-led and outbound means you don't get either or don't understand how to build it. We are having the best pipeline month in company history, company being Aligned, and about to beat our best quarter after going signal-led. Q2 24 results to follow. And how did we do it? Stacking signals. I'm going to keep on going for a little bit here. So
Hmm.
the key to success here is that each signal is not a solution. You need to stack them together and triage them to get in your best strike zone. I'm going to pause there because then we start to get into the list of signals. But I always like to ask, okay, what was going on in your minds? Like, what led you to write this post? I mean, it's kind of there in the narrative, but would love to get your quick take
Yeah,
on this. Yeah.
yeah. I'm going to say this very, very, very respectfully. Mark Cosgrove, respected CRO, been at Outreach. Just
Also on the
um,
podcast, who's our first guest?
yeah, he made a post some time ago, and I respect you to the nth degree, but let's somebody's got to call you out respectfully. Um,
Great.
I've never worked with a CRO that's done outbound in the last 5 6 years. CROs always hire outbound leaders to build the system. So respectfully speaking, it's also kind of one of those things where I respect you, but when I read that, I was like, I kind of expect a little bit more here, a little bit more substance. Kind of like you're kind of devaluing certain people. And I'm not trying to just make this about Mark, but this is where almost everybody kind of just picked a pie and chose to eat it and realizing that's not the flavor they wanted, which is for some reason, all the folks that were speaking about managing outbound, building outbound processes respectfully in the last 2 3 years, I haven't seen them build that out. And now hiring somebody to orchestrate that versus finding the steps to build and orchestrate that are two separate things. Another post I saw like 2 weeks ago or a week ago was from a very, very great SDR that I would personally hire myself. And he basically said that, oh, you don't need outbound leaders to manage outbound. You can just get a clay and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, hold on, pause. Respectfully speaking, have you ever managed a team? Have you ever built a team and scaled it by connecting all the departments? Because when you're scaling something, it's not about outbound. It's not about a cold email that's personalized or cold call that's like a great script. It's the effectiveness come from business alignment, processes and systems, but also at the very core of it, for respective sales leaders that haven't done the cold work in the last little bit, messaging has changed. Relevance for messaging has changed. We talk about signals all the time, and people are saying, "Well, isn't that an inbound lead?" I'm like, "No, that's not how our business sees it.
Mhm.
We don't categorize a product sign up. If you think about the buyer's awareness journey, it says awareness, consideration, purchase. We decided to add another layer to it called the unaware layer. And we said that when people are unaware, they're window shopping. Window shopping could happen from people just exploring your website, people downloading blogs, or people signing up for a free trial. So for companies that don't have PLG, they help people window shop through content, website visits, blogs. For people that have PLG, they can afford to get people to window shop by touching and playing with their product a little bit. So all I'm trying to do here is A, I'm not disrespecting anybody. B, I'm just saying, can we start listening to the actual operators that are actually trying to build this thing and let that voice be relevant versus respectfully somebody that scaled $100 million org, and those processes are not going to work today anymore. Let's be very, very, very real about it.
Yeah, I love the spiciness, and I'm sure you and Mark would have agreements on lots of different areas, but I would have a good debate. I gotta get you two together.
Yeah, no, again, I have tremendous respect. There's just some things where I'm like, okay, let's be real. Let's talk about it.
Cool, cool. Well, so let's get into the actual signals that you use, and I love that we're getting into some like data here towards the end. So the post then goes on to read, here is the list of signals I captured manually. An OKR for me this quarter is to add more to my repository of signals, and I plan on doing this, integrating all these signals via common room, and further track their activity for unique trigger and conversion events. And then in an ideal world, I plan on big brothering, in quotes, my leads/signals to see if they become hotter over time and convert. These are some of the signals we are working with currently, and you can find the resources of signals from Common Room in the links I'll share, and we'll share those links in the show notes. And then there's 4 signals here that I want to cover with you. So the first being CRM signals, which is lookalike customers and prospects from your deal committed stage. In your deal committed stage. 2, social signals, community engagement, dark social conversations. 3, website visitors de-anonymized. And then 4, product signals, signups, lookalike signups, and signups engaging with competitors. Okay, so let's pause there and just talk about how you came up with these signals and your hypothesis and execution and all that kind of stuff.
That's the best question. I think that kind of the whole idea of what's happened over here is we did something, then we did the next step after, then we did the next step after. And where did this all start? I'm going to share. Can I share my screen?
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
So,
be able to share.
To everybody, I think something that happens generally in life is we always see people at the end point and kind of try to take every single thing on what they're saying. I'm going to tell you how we got here. The way we got here is I used to work at a company called Dooley, and this is my QBR. And this is from back in 2012. Sorry, not 2012. Whoa. Sorry, 2020.
It feels maybe that long ago, 12 years ago, but it's only 2.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. 2022. But our company created a lot of content. And one day I asked my VP of sales, I was like, Michelle, what's my target? And she said 10,000 trial signups. I said, wait, how do I achieve that? Then I go to marketing and I basically asked them, hey, how do we get 10,000 trial signups? She said, Saad, she doesn't want 10,000 signups. She wants enough traffic on the website that it converts to 10,000 signups. So what we decided to do was start creating a lot of content, strategic content, to drive people to our LinkedIn page. And then logically what would happen after the LinkedIn page, we'd see these insane follower spikes. These people will go on our company page. Our website. We were able to capture company level data of X amount of companies on our website. And then we prospected at a company level, creating some assumptions as to why they would be on our page, how they got there, and we were creating very specific targeted messaging. The second thing that we did was we partnered with influencers to create another layer of signal or activity to kind of heat up just, kind of what we're talking about. And I'm just going to speak about these 2 things over here. Creating content to drive traffic to the website, to create relevance, and then tying that loop with partners and sellers. Now, what did we do at Align? First thing that we did when I came to Align was we did not have website de-anonymization or anything like this. But what we did have was the free version of Clearbit that showed me all the companies that were on my website. But more importantly, I could also see what pages they're looking at. So yeah, right now our 30 MPC campaign is pretty hot right now, but I can see people on customer collaboration portal. So somebody from Mogo is on customer collaboration portal. So let's do the math here. This is a 251K employee 251 to 1K employee company. My brain tells me that if somebody at Mogo is looking at Align, there's a high chance something could be happening at Mogo. Then what we do is we added a qualified visitor traffic that shows me the same companies coming over and over again. So everybody says, oh, you're doing inbound led outbound. Nobody booked an inbound demo there. Nobody signed up there. Why would look, guys, let's be real. Software is boring. Nobody's exploring Common Room or Align because, wow, this is so cool. No.
It's not entertainment.
Somebody did some random search and we became relevant. So I started trying to go find out, hey, why were we relevant to you? The reality is a lot of people didn't budge, but some people did.
Yeah. And then more people than cold, I'm assuming. Yeah.
Exactly. So they didn't do anything, but then we started looking into our CRM. And then we started seeing for the following. So now we're creating a signal. Now we're going from, I'm not even talking de-anonymized visit, Kevin. Now I'm just talking about something that we can cross-reference with our playbook. And a big part of my playbook is the following. We cross-reference every single thing with companies in our CRM, our customers, our best signups. And if we have a competitor of Mogo on our website, you can bet I've qualified them to go after them. So this is me manufacturing signals to start off with. And all I did here, I just stacked 2 triggers and 2 signals. Visitor, comparing them against a customer of ours as a competitor. That's some level of score, right? And then that goes into just the pancake stack. But the concept is that. So this is the pre-de-anonymization signal-led world, where what I used to do as a rep when I was at Clio, I started my career selling to lawyers. We had, under every account page, there was a Marketo track that showed people that were on the website what content pieces they looked at. Mm-hmm. So all I used to do was create a messaging based on just all they did. So this is, I think somebody
it's like from a cheat code.
Yeah, and back then I used to think that. I used to actually think that. I was like, wait, why am I the only one that's doing this and nobody else in the company is? And that helped me break the company comp plan and things like that. So essentially what I think Signal-Led has done for me, and we're going to go much deeper into like what are all the actual signals we stack, which is where things get a little bit more fun. That's exactly what happened. I tapped into my SDR brain as a rep. And what got me success, what gets a lot of experienced reps success, is they're connecting patterns and trends. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Like the best reps are not doing a lot of activity, but they're doing very specific activity. And they always say, oh, we're just following up. Wait, how do you have so many follow-ups?
Yeah. And then, I love that the promise of that too is like, if the reps are doing it, they've been doing it in this like manual fashion, like you were probably, 4 or 5 years ago. And now we have the ability to like replicate these plays at scale with technology, which we'll get into. But let's jump back into your post. I don't know if you want to share anything about or have any thoughts on that specifically, but we can.
Oh no, there's absolutely a lot more. There's so much more to go.
Cool. So we talked through the signals a little bit here. So what's fascinating about these signal to produce leads are converting to qualified opportunities and close one 37% faster. Wow. These are all also outperforming our inbound demos and hand raisers. This current workflow and how, as a PLG org, stacking the above signals and doing a bit of manual work is a must. I'll stress again, all these signals without the right enablement and sales talent will fall short. And then let's just pause real quick there before we get into, I don't even know how to say this person, Deb's stack and like this step-by-step. So the question that comes to mind is like, how were these closing faster than inbound hand raisers?
Great question. This is where things get really fun. I'm trying to think about this without sharing internal data, but I might be able to touch upon just a little bit because I've shared this in the past.
Sure.
So we did this presentation to the entire company a few months. Oh, someone is currently. Can I share my screen real quick,
Yep,
please?
yep. I love that you have
I
the
promise.
slides in the background. We're filling up.
I got all the receipts. I got all the receipts. I got all the receipts. So first, let's preface what happened here. Why are these deals closing faster? Let's first answer that. People don't know Align exists. Align is an end user tool for AEs. Leadership have not figured out what Align does yet.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, there is no budget for Aligned and deal rooms. But every single business has a budget for account planning, better multi-threading, meaning better forecast, which is the entire value prop for Align.
Mm-hmm.
To get virality for the industry, we need to get Align in the hands of end users. So what did we start doing? Go after every single end user.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you qualify one good end user versus not? This is where the tech stack comes into play. First, we check all the signups on Tableau. Then we'll go on to Common Room or some other de-anonymization software and see, okay, this person signed up, but okay, from the signups, which ones are actively on the website? So you see, we're like consistently just like stacking. So now I've gone from like, oh, this person on the website versus this person is actively on the website, aka they're actively using Align. A core stat in PLG is the following. 40% activation failures exist in PLG, aka 40% of your user base will never realize value or never connect the dots. So guess what I started doing? By kind of qualifying by signals to signups, we started going after every end user, basically with this message.
Nice.
And the message was simply, I'll show you a couple examples.
Sure.
So this, hi Jeff, notice you checked out Align. It's a little vague because I'm trying to qualify for the site visit and the sign up. And he's straight up telling me, yes, we're trying to get rid of Seismic.
I see. Yeah. So you're essentially, for people who are maybe listening, you're showing a LinkedIn exchange.
Yes.
Yes.
Now let's
outbound
get
with the personalized messages to people who signed up for Align here.
But Kevin, the thing that I want to stress here is this message is not personalized. The only personalization here is that Jeff was on the website. But look at this. We do what we call a PLS sales assist call, aka we'll go to all end users. I'll ask them 3 questions. Hey, how did you find out about Align and what are you looking to do with it? The first question, how did they find out, helps me scale the channel for signups, whether it's influencers, ads, etc. Second thing is what do you think you can do with Align? Is without me pitching what Align can do, I want to understand what their baseline is of what Align can do.
Yep.
Kind of like meeting them halfway. And then a lot of people will right away be like, hey, I've been asked to evaluate this on behalf of my company, or we're trying to understand this. Or the golden place, the golden world that we live in is the following. I'm going to use my friend Chaz as an example.
You've been
so
pulling
Chaz
up live LinkedIn here. This is dangerous.
This is like, trust me, like I'm all for receipts. So Chaz used Align to get a job at his company called Entop. Then what he did was I did some workflow sessions with him. I helped him build a use case internally. So here it is, the first message, right?
Same message you used from before, pretty much.
Exact same message. I have a very interesting stat to share here, by the way, which is going to blow industry socks off. You know what? Let's kind of like tangent right now.
All right, let's tangent.
Our emails weren't converting. And then my BDR and I was like, hey, hold on. If this message converts on LinkedIn, why would it not convert on email? Kevin, you know where I'm going with this.
Yes. Showing receipts of email. Here we go.
I am showing ATL is product signups from sales leaders and visitors is sales leaders that did not sign up. Let's look at the message and let's look at the conversion. Sales leader that sign up to Align, 70% reply rate, 10% interest rate. What's the first message?
Same exact thing.
Exactly.
Pretty much the same thing. Yeah. A little bit different.
But just a little bit of edits there. But no, let's get it a little bit deeper.
And it's also super short. Like, let's just read it real quick. Like, I saw that you signed up for an Aligned platform. You made an Aligned room to share more on how you can use Aligned to its full capabilities. Insert the room number, which is some personalization there of like how they signed up. And then would you be able to connect me so I can learn what prompted your interest, share use cases, etc. So just like jumping in, lending a helping hand in a super short, concise message.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's all. And in each of our sequences, one of our highest converting message is, and then it's just like a very simple like follow up. But in each of our sequences, one of the highest converting message is this one. It's actually a screenshot from Mike Gallardo from LinkedIn, who's a sales director at Deal, which is one of our biggest customers.
Wow. Yeah, so social proof mixed in there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is to signups, right? Now let's look at this one, which is my favorite one.
I could have Florence steal this and just try and beat Saad's.
The competition and like the exchange of ideas there is actually pretty fascinating. So let's look at cold but warm site visitors who have not signed up. 47% open, 10% reply rate. Industry standard reply rates are 4.6%.
So above the industry standard, yeah. A little lower intent level here because they're just visiting website versus signing up.
Exactly. But that's exactly it. We need to contextualize that, right? Like, let's think about all these sequences as buckets. One bucket is for signups, one bucket is for cold visitors, X, Y, and Z. Like, I think that's the whole orchestration that's needed. And then this adds some of the other stuff that we're going to speak about later. But what we do here is, you see, it's a manual email. The reason why it's manual, because it's to sales leaders. The first part of the message remains the exact same. And then we just make some tweaks based on the signals we stack here, aka, why is this manual? The stacking here will happen that will mention that, hey, 2 of your reps signed up, or will mention that they activated or they shared a room with the customer, etc., etc. So that's what we'll do. And I can go into my Gmail as well as a result. Guys, please don't mind my inbox. We're like going all in right now. It's okay. But simple message right here. Response. Great SDR work. Senior sales director. Admittedly,
Nice. Yeah, get good responses. Simple message.
But then where does it get even better is, so I'll use another example. This is the core definition of an aligned process booked message opportunity, where what you mentioned earlier, that the strategy without the right strategic player wouldn't work. Just telling somebody that, oh, I was on your website does not work. So let's break down step by step. Before I do that, I just want to share why our outbound deals are converting faster. Is we're going to an end user. They're telling us that, hey, my business might be able to use this for this. And when they tell me that, I help them optimize and perfect that. So if the business doesn't get it, at least that person would. If at least one person does, they always share it with their teams.
They're getting you're building champions essentially.
Exactly, which is one of our value props as well. But I'm going to show you a couple examples where I have not built champions yet. We have booked meetings with Oyster, Gong, Salesforce, HubSpot. I have all the receipts, demand base, and this is how. So let me show you an example of one of my favorite meetings that I booked with a company called Niles.
Let's look at it. Love this.
So this is a pure example of stacking signals. So Reed is one of the top AEs at Niles. First message that went out to Reed was...
And this is over LinkedIn for folks, yeah.
Yeah. But he was also sent the message on email, and something interesting was happening. Some people were responding on emails and LinkedIn. And my CEO and I had a conversation. He was like, Saad, your email message aren't converting. I said, Gal, I don't think we should optimize for channel. I think we should optimize for the message. And once we got this message correct, I just showed you guys the receipts, our email started to convert as well. But yeah, straightforward message to a user. And he's like, hey, I'm purely using map for map templates. That's all I need to hear for mutual action plans. Then I looked up who Maggie is.
Maggie from Nihilus.
Yeah, Maggie Ryan is the global sales manager.
So you're multi-threading here?
Yes, absolutely, exactly. And she made a post about how she hates email ping pongs, stuff like that, which is a good personalization piece for me. So let's look at what I did.
So you dug into her LinkedIn feed to see what kind of posts and see how you could tie that to your outbound.
Absolutely. Let me do a little bit of BDR magic right now.
Love this. We're doing work on the fly here.
Oh yeah. So everybody knows their website home screen like the back of their hand. Imagine you get a message one day that says this.
So you're copying the headline of the
I
the
am
homepage.
changing
Oh,
your.
changing. Oh, okay, nice.
Kevin.
And this is a pretty easy thing to do. Just inspect
Anybody
elements.
can do it,
Yeah.
Kevin. I just on the fly change your website home.
Yeah. Nice.
So this is to get attention from Maggie. So this is what Niles' website says.
Uh-huh.
Maggie made a post about she hates email ping pongs X, Y, and Z, which kind of ties into a line: no more email ping pong with the stakeholders. So this is what Niles' website says. I read her post, and I changed the website home screen saying that align maps that are actually collaborative, no more email ping pong. And I actually personalized the email saying that, hey, I got a chance to connect with Reed, social proof.
I love that hack, changing their website and just doing like a quick video like Loom videos to send.
Thank you. I
Great
appreciate it.
hack.
And then, but guess what? Everybody is busy. I made a great personalized email. She didn't respond. Followed up, and then this is the world we want to be in. This is the purest response for the signal led. People think, oh, signals aren't cold. No, I'm just manufacturing intent.
So she got. I'm gonna read it. So she's responded. OMG, I love this so much. I never opened up any cold in quotes emails, but you caught my attention right away. Read to champion this for you. Checking this out now. Cool. And then like a smiley face. So I think this is a good like a bar that your outbound is landing well. If someone says like, oh, this is a really good outbound email, and they typically will say something like, I never open or respond to these types of emails. And then like you're striking the right chord, right?
You can see the smile on my face when you get a response like that.
Yeah, and other people are feeling the same thing too, even if they're not like responding the same way. It's probably like 10 times more people feeling that way on the other end too.
Yeah, and I said this to my boss internally. I was like, this is so valid. I actually get some great cold emails sometimes that I actually don't respond to. And a part of me is like, I want the rep to go again. I'm like, okay, tell me what's next.
Make them work for it.
As well.
Yeah.
So, it's I think, and this is where I go back to the conversation about earlier with people hating on it and stuff like that. I don't think people are giving it enough of a chance and shot. And there's actually one more layer of stack that we can add, which makes it even more powerful, which we'll get into. But it's that, like, I truly don't think outbound is meant to be done by everybody. But that's not the whole point. The point is, if you can get the right orchestrators, give them the right data points, and kind of let them live through it, things can happen. Guys, everybody says high level stuff. My first quarter at Lime sucked. we had no idea, but we needed the transition from who was here and doing what before me for me to have my dip and then figure out where we need to go. Mm-hmm. It's not always rainbows and butterflies, but yeah, like we're like, you know what, we're bought in. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Before jumping back into the post, can you just share a little bit more about because there's a signal, and you don't want to act on every single signal because not everyone in your doing that signal is in your ICP. So how important is it to filter out? And you said you were doing some like lookalike Salesforce audiences and accounts, and so like what percentage of signal, or like how do you qualify there to know who you should actually reach out to?
Great question you're asking. It's the best question that leads me to the very next thing that I was going to show you.
Right. This is not where planned. Yeah, so good on me, I guess.
It's going perfectly. So how do we make this better? How do we orchestrate this more? How do we get more signals, right? Let's think about the PLG lens. So what we decided to do to make this even hotter was add another. So let's say we're in a world where I have a customer account where somebody like Maggie is not there and they're more hard. They don't want to respond. Mm-hmm. How do I get their attention? Core fundamental concept of outbound, which Florin talks about as well, is the difference between above the line messaging and below the line messaging. Mm. Below the line sale is, hey, we can save you time. An exec gives zero. Respectfully, my CEO would give.
Everyone says they do that in some regard. Save time or give add more value, whatever. It's all the same value prop. Right?
No exec cares about time saving and productivity. The ATL message for time savings is
what's ATL? Sorry.
Above the line.
Perfect. Yeah.
So BTL, below the line, means what do you say to leader? What do you say to reps to get their interest? Once you get their interest, they kind of share business priorities as well. Then above the line messaging to convert sales leaders is by taking what the reps say and converting them to what their leaders would want to hear. AKA, a rep says that, hey, I save 5 hours of prospecting time.
Mhm.
A leader would want to be like, hey, your rep closed X amount of deals way faster. Now they have more capacity to prospect 35% more pipeline, et cetera, et cetera. So we decided to think about things in that way. So the way for the other orgs that were not responsive, that aren't as easy to get, so for some of our bigger hitters, we started doing the following that I am about to show you.
All right, let's do it.
We created a few Tableau. This is like the full in and out of the playbook here. So we can track everyday signups from multiple companies, but then this is what we did. We created multiple dashboards that are the following. One dashboard shows me engaged users at orgs that have had 3+ room visits. AKA somebody is engaged at a line and they've gone into a line 3+ times. Again, I don't care about gone into a line, but it's a good sign. Second thing is somebody that has
threshold essentially is the different like groupings.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'm not just going after sign up, but I'm going after sign up that has visited a line multiple times. That person is way more likely to talk to me than somebody that just visited a line once, right? Mm-hmm. Then this becomes better if they hit a paywall, aka they love the line so much they try to buy themselves. This gets even better that if they hit a paywall for a free account, which gets even better if they've invited multiple people from their company internally, which gets even better when they've had engaged accounts, aka they've shared a line with their customers and they chose to share a line with the customers again, aka this means this person saw one deal work so well with one customer that they were like, man, I need to send this to everybody. Yeah. So what I'm doing is sending their sales leaders the breakdown of those stats.
Yeah, so signal stacking like at its core right there. Yeah. Love it. All right, should we get into the rest of the post? We have one more section to get into, which is kind of like a step-by-step section. So let's jump in here. Okay, so I'm going to start here with this. This is the current workflow and how, as a PLG org, stacking the above signals and doing a bit more manual work is a must.
I think I lost you there.
Oh, yeah, it's freezing a little bit, but I think hopefully we can we'll edit this out. I'll just start from the top. Okay, so
it's good.
So this is the current workflow and how, as a PLG org, stacking the above signals and doing a bit of manual work is a must. I'll stress again, all these signals without the right enablement and sales talent will fall short. Then it says, enter Deb. This is how Deb stacks our signals and builds glorious qualified pipeline. Step 1, Deb tracks all our signups on a Tableau dashboard and looks for the unique signups, aka has somebody hit room limits, or this is kind of what you were showing before. Has somebody hit room limits, or has somebody invited others internally to sign up? These events increase the score and turns the sign up into a signal. Step 2, we check de-anonymization to check the visitors on our site and validate who to reach out to. 40% activation failures exist in PLG in this combined. And this signal combined with the above shows signups that might be in market for and actively evaluating. And then step 3, we look for unique trigger signal to get better sense of the org, aka do they have open headcount? Are they hiring for roles that are end users of my product? Here's a repository of signals from Common Room. We can link that in the show notes. And then step 4, we prospect and talk to all ICs to learn what could be ATL above the line messaging for the leaders that will help us convert an account into an opportunity. So that's the step-by-step process there. Let's we already went into some of it, but let's pause there and have you reflect. Oh, I went through the step-by-step framework. Yeah, okay. The connections.
Yeah, it's
choppy.
It's starting getting choppy for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. Should we? No, now you're back.
Yeah,
Um,
not sure what's going on.
yeah. Maybe start again. Hopefully the third time's a charm.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So this is the current workflow and how, as a PLG org, stacking the above signals and doing a bit of manual work is a must. I'll stress again, all these signals without the right enablement and sales talent will fall short. Enter Deb. This is how Deb stacks our signals and builds glorious qualified pipeline. Okay, step one. Deb tracks all signups in a Tableau dashboard and looks for unique signups, aka has someone hit the room limits or has someone invited other people internally to sign up. These events increase the score and turns the sign up into a signal. Okay, step two. We check de-anonymization to check web visitors on our site and validate who to reach out to. 40% activation failures exist in PLG, and this is signal combined with the above shows signups that might be in market and actively evaluating. Okay, step three. Then we look for unique trigger signal to get a better sense of the org, aka do they have open headcount? Are they hiring for roles that end users of my product? And then here's a repository from Common Room that you can use, and we'll link that in the show notes. And then step four, we prospect and talk to all ICs to learn what could be ATL, above the line messaging for the leaders that will help us convert an account to an opportunity. All right, we got through it. We had a little bit of hiccups there, but Saad, I know we already kind of went through some of this stuff, but other things that you want to share with this like step-by-step process.
Yeah, I think I think this is where Common Room comes in. Um, all this orchestration that we did manually and we did learn from resources, things like that. Um, there's tools that exist to do that now, which is why we're partnered together, which is why I've been so intent on working with Common Room, like building some of these workflows out, things like that. Um, look, I always believe that the best software products are not that's going to transform how I do my work, but it makes every single thing that I do better. And as an extension of what I'm already doing, is we're actively looking at all these data points manually. In an ideal world, I know my checks are account level, website visitor level, triggers. If something can just show me like, hey, here's all your data points, go after them. Like that's it. That's the world of stacking signals we want to be in. And for me, the biggest validating point there was when Common Room started talking about it. Uh, this is pretty open, but I was trying to buy a Common Room. I was trying to buy a Common Room for Align to put all our product usage data. So as in the post, we can big brother my signups. Where the world that I want to be in is I want to be able to see if my signups are engaging with my competitors. I want to be able to see if my signups are actively in market and exhibiting other intent signals that makes me go, ooh, they might be ripe for the taking. The world that I want to be in, I don't want to prospect 400 people that convert at just, I don't want to be in a world where I prospect 400 and I get 20. I want to be in a world where I prospect 50 and I get maybe 10. That's a way better position for us to be in. And I think we hit that nirvana here at Align and we didn't even realize it.
Mm-hmm.
We hit the nirvana of let's just prospect a small amount that converts harder, which I've shown you guys the results for, the receipts for. Now, will this scale? I don't want it to scale. We found something that works for now. We have the manpower and the brains that maybe next year the industry pivots, the industry zigs will zag. I think that, again, a big point that I'm going to stress is that if you have the right operators, they can figure the tech out. The tech is not going to figure out the operation. The operators are going to figure out the tech. Mm-hmm. So whether it's Clay, like Common Room, X, Y, and Z, there's so much going on. People are so hard devaluing actual operators that understand outbound. But again, outbound comes from alignment. Mm-hmm. Comes from understanding what your AEs are doing, who they're selling what customer success is getting back to you, and what marketing is actually doing. As a result of doing this, Align's ad spend and marketing spend is at its lowest ever. It costs dollars to get product signups. Majority PLG companies are not able to convert their product signups. We're converting over 90% of them.
Yeah. I mean,
then we're creating lookalikes.
Yeah. Can you one thing that came up to mind here that I don't think we touched on is on step 3 here, which is hold on, let me share my screen again. So step 3 is we look for a unique trigger signal to get a better sense of the org. This is more like the org signal, which is like, do they have open headcount? Are they hiring for roles? This is kind of like the research side of things, and I don't think we touched on that. So can you speak a little bit about that? Because I think it's like, okay, here's the signal that we want to, puts the company or person in market,
Yeah.
and then the research side of it is like, how can we understand what's going on with this company to then have the right approach and have our outbound message land. So can you talk a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So a big piece of Alliance value prop has been that we've been saying that, we're creating a new category for buyer enablement. We started seeing headcount appearing for head of buyer enablement, aka companies that can help their sellers sell better to their champions, through their champions and through their customers. So this is one example of stacking every single thing that we do and sending a message to people that, hey, this product that you're looking at, you actually have an open headcount for this. This is like truly the world that you're living in. Second part of that is, let's say a company signs up, multiple AEs sign up, and they have open headcount for AEs. Open headcount for AEs tells me that they're going through a growth phase. They're going through a growth phase. That means they're absolutely, just because you have open headcount does not mean you've optimized the process for how each of these AEs are going to scale. So it's kind of like creating the narrative that, hey, if you have open headcount, you want more AEs, you want them to be better at closing deals. I also looked at your pricing page, and you have enterprise pricing. That means you're selling enterprise deals. That means you might be doing mutual action plans in your deals where things fall short. So we go from signals to value props by just connecting them to kind of,
you can make the right assumptions by understanding what the trends are happening at the account level.
Exactly. I don't care about personalization. I don't care about what you went to University of Utah, but I do want to be able to tell a CFO or a CEO or a VP of sales that, hey, if A, then B, if B, then C, aka I'm trying to earn trust by letting you know I understand your business. If selling is a video game, then selling to sales leaders is like the final boss battle. In a video game, as you're ranking up, you can throw any tool at everybody willy-nilly. But when I finished the Batman Arkham Asylum series, I was such a master at the end. I was actually felt like Batman. I could just do whatever and still win. And that's what earns the trust with sales leaders. And this also goes into the right strategy without the right strategic player doesn't play. Maggie did not respond to the email. I had to say a few things to Maggie to create a trigger to get their response. Like the sales leaders from Gong that we're trying to book meetings with, they don't care about Align, but they do care about when I send them the screenshots of all their sales teams and what their projections are and what their business is doing, what the research is about business understanding. That's what's making them go like, you know what, you get it, let's talk. So it's that. You're not going to win against, this comes from what my ICP is. I sell to sales leaders. Sometimes it becomes easy to book meetings with sales leaders, but it's so difficult to close the deals. So if at the start I can earn that level of trust, I can.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like it just comes down to like core principles of doing go-to-market the right way, which is like having empathy and like thinking through what's in it for the person that you're reaching out to.
Exactly, which goes into Sandler, the 3 layers of pain, right? Kevin is not going to want to buy Align for Common Room because Align is a great tool. But Kevin will buy Align because there's a technical problem that the technical high-level problem is that Common Room might be having difficulties closing deals faster. But then what's the business problem? Because deals are not closing as fast as they can, forecast is not being met. Because forecast is not being met, somebody is responsible for it. So if Kevin was a CRO or VP of sales at Common Room, Kevin would care about buying Align because this would get Kevin to forecast. This would make Kevin look good in front of the board. This would make Kevin look good because the forecast has been met. So people don't buy transformation I'm not the CEO of Common Room or Align, but there is a reason why I will invest working with you. So it's that. These triggers kind of help you delineate what somebody's,
get to the bottom of like what is gonna make them do.
The third layer, the actual intent layer, where somebody will be like, "Damn, okay, I have to do this for myself. Otherwise, I might get fired."
You're irresistible. Your outbound is irresistible. They can't help but respond.
We need to try. We try. It doesn't always hit, but we try.
Okay, and then last thing here, while we're winding down on time. So you have two bar charts. One chart showing Q4 2023, and then a much larger bar chart for Q4 or Q1, sorry, 2024. And then you said I'll share Q2 results soon. Playbook in the comments. I think you've already kind of shared some of the results already, but maybe you can just talk little bit about the results that you saw.
Yeah, I will try and show you something and be very cognizant of personal data, internal data, but two things happened in the last 2 months. March was our company history's best ever pipeline and revenue month by an nth degree. And I think I'll show this one because it kind of doesn't show too much.
All right, yeah, appreciate you pulling back the curtain a little bit here.
Yeah, and I'll also be mindful. I'll try not to show any. Yeah, this is purely outbound and outbound influenced inbound.
Awesome. There you go.
So May of this month, we had our companies. So everything that's solid orange is outbound. May of this month, we had our company's best ever pipeline history month. Then something interesting happened this month. In June, our email channel died, but you can see we ended way higher than our best ever month ever. Guess what happened this month? We stopped working towards the last 2 weeks of the month because everything that the system has built just kept coming in. We lost a channel, and we're all like, my BDR and I were just like, is this actually happening? Did we lose a channel? We hit quota 2 weeks before the end of the quarter. And my message to the entire sales team was, guys, I think we know how to sell this.
Yeah. So now it's all about scale. And like, can you share a little bit more about like how do you take this and then like do more of it essentially?
Great question. Now we add tech. We know how to crawl. We know how to walk. Now we're going to start running.
That's a really great point actually, is that everything shared here, you could pretty much do with like an internet connection and a spreadsheet and not a whole lot of tech. You know, you can get signal on the signal, pun intended, without a lot of effort, and you can do things that don't scale first.
Yeah, but that's exactly the key. You have to do the things that can scale first, and you'll kind of pick out what we can scale. So we've done every single thing manually. Now we want to put automations and processes and data and tech on top of it. So now I'm ready to work with clay agents and outbound agencies and basically just add fuel to the fire. So we're building automated workflows by putting all these triggers and data points into clay. And if by manually doing this, I got 5 emails out, I want to get 10 out or 50 out. SendSpark, by doing all the above, we send personalized videos to all the signups. Everybody is getting a generic message right now. We send them personalized videos, and then be able to bring in common room and other things like that. Just much better orchestration from
the product signals, website signals. Those are all siloed right now, and so you can consolidate with the technology.
Yeah. And that's where my brain keeps going. Is it's more about it's truly revenue orchestration. And the post that I made today, I didn't say it. I ran out of space because I talk a lot and I type like I talk. Kevin, we found a predictable revenue model
through signals, and this whole playbook essentially. It's not just the signal part of it.
Yeah, this is as I don't have a better definition of predictability right now than this. Our AEs are happy. The deals are closing within 30 days. Look at this. I'll show you guys another example just to leave off. One of my old AEs, my old AE from vendor, his company was using Loxo, one of our competitors, I basically sales assisted him, and he said that, hey, yeah, we're ready to get you. And he basically sold it to his internal team. And within literally a month of conversation, they straight up said that, yeah, just, we'll buy 20, 30 seats if you can do X, Y, and Z. I forget where the message is, but
So you mixed in a Bernie meme there. That's probably pretty critical.
yeah, yeah, I know. I was waiting to book a meeting with him. Like, Haley, I am once again
Once
asking
again,
if it's
asking.
a big dog. So
It's good to
that's
add a
just
little bit
it.
of humor and levity to the outbound. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you have to. Like, I'm just trying to put on a show and have fun while we're doing it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I can tell it comes through you and your excitement level for sure. So,
Thank you. I
Saad,
appreciate
thank
it.
you so much for taking the time. We'll make sure to get this out. I think this one's the one that's gonna have to be a video format, and people listening might not get
I
as
love
much
it.
value out of it. But I love that and appreciate you. So, thanks again so
Of
much.
course, my pleasure. Mark, shout out to you. Would love to chat sometime, but don't hate me.
Nice.